It's a well-established fact that I love to rag on United Airlines. They have a reputation for heartless crews and anti-consumer policies. But for the second time in a year, I had a fairly positive experience, which I found surprising. I believe United Airlines has been rather bipolar for years, but is about to go in a new, dangerous direction. So let's talk about that. If you want to skip straight to the flight review, click on the timestamp down below. There's been effectively two leaders of United. There's our old friend, Oscar Munoz.
Thanks, Oscar.
De nada.
Despite the jokes at his expense, he seems like a really good, decent guy. He's put a more human face on the airline after the scandals of the prior CEO, and everyone from United I've spoken with says he genuinely cares about crew well-being. He's very well liked and respected, but since 2016 there's been another voice in the room, Scott Kirby. Scott Kirby made a name for himself as a cost-cutting, profit-centric executive at America West, along with Derek Kerr, Robert Issam, and Steve Johnson. Under the leadership of Doug Parker, the America West gang engineered a series of mergers. In 2004, they first went after US Airways, taking it over, keeping the name, and making a host of improvements customers hated. In 2006, they tried to take over Delta, which failed. In 2008, they tried to get United, but United had their eyes on Continental already. But in 2013, they got American. And that ragtag group of America West executives went from the deserts of Arizona to running the largest US airline. Parker, Kerr, Issam, Johnson, and Kirby were all on top of the world together at American. Kirby was president of the airline. But in 2016, something happened. Kirby was fired by American Airlines. The same day, he was hired as United's president. We don't know exactly what happened to break up the band, but there was no way that it was pretty. Although he's been reporting to Munoz, you've probably noticed several enhancements come to United.
Enhance.
Kirby is known as a numbers guy. Great, I am too. But Kirby may be a bit too much of a numbers guy. He's been banned from 150 casinos for card counting. His overarching philosophy is that if an action makes money in the short term, do it. If not, don't. Basic economy, densification of seats, Dr. Dow, dynamic award pricing. You'd better believe that Kirby had a hand in all of them. Intangibles like customer goodwill and airline loyalty, those are hard things to put in an Excel spreadsheet. But in 2020, Oscar Munoz will be stepping down as CEO, and Kirby will finally be able to step out of the shadows. Oh, Oscar, I am so sorry to see you go. There were so many more jokes to make. We're already seeing the impact. The new refits with Polaris are making the fleet even worse in economy than previously planned. Proactive compensation for delayed flights? Gone. The new Mileage Plus changes that only value money? United being the only mainline airline that doesn't allow a carry-on bag in basic economy? Drastic cuts to Polaris service? All Kirby. So buckle up, because the friendly skies are about to receive even more enhancements.
Enhance. Enhance. Enhance.
Another day at O'Hare, and let's start the flight review with a lounge rant. I was traveling on an international business class ticket flying Turkish's 787 out of Atlanta. Most airlines, for example American, provide lounge access based on the highest class of your journey. Flying American Coach to connect to a Cathay Pacific business class flight? You'll get access to the American Airlines flagship lounge. Heck, even fellow Star Alliance members like Air New Zealand do this. But not United. Lounge access is based only on the flight from that airport. So being on United domestic first class ticket, I not only had no access to the Polaris lounge, I didn't even have access to the basic United Club. But don't worry, I thought. I signed up for the United Explorer card because some totally honest and independent resource on the internet told me to. It comes with 2 annual United Club passes. But no. Perhaps it's a temporary issue of overcrowding, but if it's really infrequent, why would they have made such a large permanent sign? United loves doing movie tie-ins, apparently. Last time it was Spider-Man, and this time it was Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Some of the signs were funny, they painted a plane, but even the official festivities seemed a bit disappointing. But in hindsight, that's pretty fitting for how the movie turned out. Without lounge access, I settled in at the gate area to work. The seats were falling apart and quite filthy in some cases. Then it was time to board. The entire first-class cabin was full, mostly due to upgrades, and I couldn't find room for my suitcase in first class. Instead, I had to put it in about the 5th row of coach, which obviously would be an issue when deplaning. In 2019, United has started increasing the number of premium seats on their A319s and A320s, and this plane was one of them. There's 12 seats in 3 rows. These seats are a relatively new addition to United, and are better than those I'd had on the 737 for sure. The headrest is very adjustable, there's universal AC power, and the armrest not only has a storage area, but also has a permanent drink table. So you don't need to pull out the full table if you only have a beverage. Nice idea. While hard to quantify, I found the seat more comfortable to sit in than the older ones on the 737. Legroom was fine, though my overstuffed backpack had some difficulty fitting under the seat in front of me, but that's on me. There were 2 flight attendants working the front of the plane, which seemed excessive for only 12 passengers. There was a young woman who was evidently still developing her skills, and a more senior gentleman who was clearly acting as her mentor. They had a great dynamic, and it was kinda cute to see her practice her announcements with him before repeating it over the PA system. Both were very friendly, one more overtly, the other in a more reserved manner. There was also a lot of friendly banter between the ground staff and the flight attendants, who clearly knew each other very well. At least that part of the skies was friendly. The gentleman made me a vodka soda as a pre-departure drink, and we pushed back on time. Flying time was an hour 50 minutes at 37,000 feet. Being such a short flight, there isn't a meal or anything. After a second beverage service, a basket of snacks including candy, bananas, and chips was passed around, and they encouraged us to take multiple items. The lavatory was fine. It's tight, but that's common on the A319 and not as horrific as American's Project Oasis, or whatever I'm sure Kirby has in mind in the future. Wi-Fi was available for $9 for the whole flight, and you could browse a selection of TV shows and movies. Unfortunately, the flight information and map were unavailable, so who knows where we flew. However, we successfully made our way to Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, and landed at dusk. From there we taxied to Terminal A, where anyone who isn't Delta is exiled to. I was finally able to visit the United Club for real this time, and you can continue my trip in my Turkish 787 video. So United domestic first on the A319. Yeah, I'll be damned, it was fine, even pleasant. Crew was great, and the seat was pretty decent for a domestic recliner. Yes, I wish there was an actual entertainment screen, but sadly that battle has already been lost at American and United. This is also the second time I had a friendly crew on United in a row. Perhaps the reputation isn't deserved. Or it's the long-haul flight attendants with more seniority that have become jaded over the years, while the short-haul ones are still friendly. I do plan on reviewing United Polaris long-haul this year if I can ever find a seat, and we'll see what happens. But I'm worried, United, I really am, and I'm still not going to fly you regularly. Mileage Plus and Chase points more broadly are significantly less valuable now, all because of you. So I got my eye on you, Kirby, and when you make your next enhancement, I'll be right here. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click that button and subscribe for many more flight reviews to come. I'll see you on the next one.